Hey, what's up, fam? Thursday's back. And you got your can? Good. You're going to need it. We got some ground to cover, y'all. We got some ground to cover, son. We got some ground to cover, fam. Okay? Last week, had to take care of wifey. 2 weeks ago, we were in NOLA for Power Slap. And in my defense, we did do a pod on a Thursday, live from the Gorilla Beverages launch party. You feel me? Code Alley15 at checkout to save. Don't worry. We'll do better. We'll ramp up our shit with them. But very exciting times, fam. Very exciting times. All right. Let's do this. You got your can? First, we what? We skim the top. Then we get the gutter. Then we blow. And now we can crack it open. I don't want to cover my face, you know? See my pretty face before we do this. Here we go. Oh, all over my chin. Now I know how you ladies feel. Oh my gosh. All right, everybody. And on the shirt, going rogue, fun. Remember, you're worth it. You're loved, and people want you to succeed. And never pour the bubbles over the rim. I gotta be honest, sort of put myself in a sticky situation. But we love sticky situations. On Thirsty Thursday. 3, 2, 1. That's a knockout.
3, 2, 1, yeah, that's a knockout. They call me kamikaze, put you in heaven's lobby. All gas, no brakes, you can never stop me. Nah, no, you can never stop me. Yeah, cause I'm the power slap king. Woo! Slap some, baby!
Hey, what's up, fam? Can you tell I was having fun in the intro? Look at this. Look at this stuff. Look at this. Ugh. Gotta wipe my chin. The microphone's messy. There's a high budget film, people, or podcast. We're not shooting a movie, are we? There's a high budget movie. Look at this. Look at this. This is real life, people. This is real life. Okay, let's put this back on. Yeah, sorry for the static noise for those that are listening with headphones. Let me get one more sip. Oh, she's full. She's full. Hey, fam. Look, the spots are gone. Let's get some magic in here, yeah? No more stickiness. No more stickiness. All right, all right. Well, it's been a fun couple of weeks. NOLA was off the charts, crazy fun. We really went as fans. We did do a live podcast on the 1 year anniversary of the podcast on a Thursday, and we got to sip some Gorilla Beverages because it was their launch party. So it really was a Thirsty Thursday on steroids a couple weeks ago in NOLA. And last week we missed because we had to take care of wifey for a minute. She just wanted to hang and stuff, so can't blame her, you know. It was fun. But anyway, so we've really only missed 1 week of Thirsty Thursday, which I'm very proud of. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So we went to New Orleans. It was fun. We did a podcast there. So many people came through. The internet was a little shaky, so we've learned don't rely on the building's internet. From now on, we bring our own, probably like Starlink or something like that. But nonetheless, we still got the content out there. We still got just a amazing. If you actually go back and watch that, fam, we got a bunch of cool content. Got to interview Ralph the Baker, which brought me a lot of dad points with my boys. We're big fans of his, and got to interview most of the strikers yet again. Some that were on the card, some that were not on the card. Some I met for the first time, like Darren, met him for the first time in person. It was it's always fun to do that, like, you know, just raise your arms up and go, "What's up? You're real." You know what I mean? Weren't able to interview Wes before the card, well, leading up to that night. But that night, Wes came by, so we got to have a few words with him, which was fun. Shoot, man, wifey was in the background, hanging with everybody. I can't even think of everybody that came through. Brandon came through. Marissa, she came through. Shout out to that 100K girl. But yeah, awesome night. Not a lot of drama. I mean, there was a little bit of drama, but that's an interview for later. What's up, Jackie and Mikey? but really not a lot of drama, just fun. Like we got to hang out with everybody. We were doing interviews from about 9 p.m. till 11, I think, a little bit past 11. Then we uh, took down the setup, as minimal as the setup was, took it down and just hung out, did shots, did the whole thing. Got to know a whole bunch of people at Gorilla Beverages. Got to go out eat some disgusting pizza at about 1 in the morning. Allie had her first cigarette, which I'm not condoning, but I got to tell you, it was pretty sexy when she was putting it out with her high heels. Very grease and so much hotter than Olivia Newton-John. I was going to say Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Yeah, Allie's definitely hotter than her. All right, here we go. We're getting to a groove now. Fam, you don't know this, but I was just cursing and swearing and sweating all kinds of game forever. You ever have days where you're off a little bit? You just kind of off your game and you got to get going. Well, I'm feeling better. I'm perking up. New Orleans was crazy fun. Thursday night was a blast. Friday was the card. We got to just see the city, see the town. Ellie had some calls to do, but we got to hit certain spots, which was fun. And then for the card itself, shout out to Gorilla and Karin, Tiffany, everybody out there. We actually got to see Power Slap in the Pit this time, which was like, I mean, if you get the opportunity to watch a Power Slap event anywhere, it'll blow your mind. But if you can get an opportunity to watch it like in the pit, it's a whole different experience. And it's not just like all the celebrities and people that you can, chat with for a few minutes, maybe get a selfie with. I mean, that's a big part of the fun of it for sure. But dude, for me, it was more like you're so close to the action. Like you can hear what they're saying for the most part. Sometimes it gets muffled out because of the sound, but you can hear what they're saying, bantering back, and they're like right there. That was crazy to see that and be a part of that. And when it was all over, we got to stick around for a little bit and get like right next to the stage, take some photos and videos. Hella fun, core memory for sure. But the night did not disappoint. It was knockout after knockout after knockout. Some controversy as well. But there always is, right? I mean, when something's growing, especially in the sporting world, there's always going to be controversies here and there, but hopefully it gets more streamlined, it gets better. But it was crazy. And then the next day, we legit just walked around, shopped, ate, met up with our friends, walked around the city, went bar hopping a little bit, went to the oldest bar in the country, got some video with that. And then when we hooked up with our friends, it was funny because we were walking around and it was just hot as hell, man. It was hot as hell. And we were walking back to the hotel and we didn't make it a block. Maybe we made it a block. And there was like some reflexology place and we all stopped and got a foot massage, because it was very tiring. And the walk was very long. So we had to take a halftime and get pampered a little bit, which was fun. And then it was the night of the UFC fight too. So we weren't sure if we were going to go to the UFC fight or not. Allie and I didn't have tickets, but our friends were working to hook us up. But I'm glad how it worked out. We didn't end up going to the UFC fight, but we did end up like going out to dinner, hanging out, and there was the restaurant we went to. It wasn't very crowded, so we got to watch the fight kind of in a quieter setting and no one around, which was kind of cool to be honest. So we did that on Saturday. And then after the UFC fight was over, which was a banger fight, by the way, Poirier, man, what a way to go out. Like that's a retirement fight for sure. Your hometown, sellout crowd, and it's for the BMF title. I mean, come on. It did not disappoint. So that was fun. And then afterwards, we just hung out at Caesars, man. We, all the strikers were there and everyone's just kind of hanging out, having a good time. Ali got to dance with this Markel guy. Didn't know who he was, like usual. So I looked him up on Instagram and he's got a huge following. And Ali got to get some twerking lessons from him, just ass, no legs, which was hilarious. Everybody loves Ali. Life of the party, super social. You know what I mean? Everyone loves Allie, and that was fun for sure. And then kind of wound down, got back to the hotel that night. Allie crashed and I stayed up for a bit. And anyway, next day we came home and got back at it, and the interviews started to roll in again, and it was a little bit calmer. Between Las Vegas and NOLA, it was kind of hectic, but after NOLA, it's kind of calmed down a little bit. Still trying to get a few more of the people on and talk with them, but I would say 100% NOLA was a success. Um, so much fun. Got to do a podcast, but for the most part, got to hang out. I had the experience of being super close to the event, all that kind of stuff. Good people, good food, except for that pizza. Oh, I could do without that. Somebody's making a shitload of money charging $11 a slice for that piece of shit. But it's all part of the experience. It's all part of the fun. And let me tell you, garbage pizza isn't so bad next to that purple drink. And if you know, you know. Speaking of drink. Oh my gosh. The boys started basketball camp. It was funny. Love my boys, love them all. But two of my boys, actually, all of them have a habit of committing and then backing out. But the difference is with the youngest, with Lucas, we have a whole lot more pull. So if he wants to back out or, kind of throws a tizzy fit or whatever, we can kind of drag that sucker along. You know what I mean? And anyway, Timmer and Lucas want to do this basketball camp. So we look at the dates. It all works out. And Timmer wanted to go. So I was like, listen, man, I was texting him. I was like, you're going to go. And he's like, yeah. And I said, and I was just telling him, okay, do you have bike practice? Because you can't commit and then back out. You got to go. And he's like, no, I want to do it. I'm going to go. Knowing full well we've got bike practice at like 5:30, 6 in the morning. I don't know how early it is. And when they're doing conditioning, they just kind of ride miles, to get the cardio up. And so he's riding like 40 miles. And then he goes to basketball camp after. So I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So the boys started camp. Monday went off without a hitch. Tuesday, they were both super sore, really sore. And Timmer was acting and saying he was really sore, and I was giving him a hard time. And I noticed he was kind of limping a little bit, not limping, but just kind of like, I don't know, shoving his feet or whatever, and just giving him a hard time that he was sore. And he was laughing the whole time because he thinks he's just sore too. And he's getting in the car, out of the car, just laughing like, I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain. And turns out he tore a muscle. So we made this big deal that he has to commit. He does, totally commits. And then his body's like, screw you. You're overworking your hamstrings. You can't ride a bike for 40 miles and then go play basketball for 6 hours every day without something happening. Which was just like, of course. But it was fun for the couple of days he could go. And Luda, he's killing it, man. I wish that kid knew how big he was. I really do. Like in the most positive way possible. Because no one gets a rebound if he's around. Nobody can stop him when he drives. It's just a matter of if he could realize how big he is and control his body. I'm not saying he's like going to the league or anything, but I am saying he could own the leagues that he's in 100%. But it's always fun to watch them compete. Haven't heard a peep out of Dre, but I'm sure he's doing great, doing his thing. You know what I mean? Allie, she's doing great. Allie's Allie, baby. She takes things to heart, all things to heart. And that's really good. It's really positive, but it's also, it can be a lot on a person. You know what I mean? But she'll power through it, and she'll be, no pun intended, she'll be slapping away until she gets tired, and then, get back to it. But she's doing good, man. We are starting to run some ads for her, not for the software that's coming out. That's still being edited. I say this all the time, but I don't know. We're getting closer. So they're not ads for that, but they are ads to just sort of get a more presence digitally online for the salon. The salon has been so word of mouth. I can't remember who was saying it, but they were saying how we had paid to get to show up at the top of Google and things like that. And it's just like, no. You can, but we don't do that. So you've got your organic searches in the middle, and then you got your paid ads on the side. And then occasionally you've got some paid ads right up top as well that say sponsored. And with Ash, we've never had to do that. We worked really hard on some white hat SEO, and we're at the top of Google searches for like hair extensions. I mean, if you type in Ash Studio or Alice Got Hair Studio, of course, we'll come up number one. And that's been great. But we want to try our hand of doing some paid ads. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, things like that, just to generate some leads and see how that goes. We've tried it a couple times in the very beginning, but because of the application process to be able to sit in the chair, there is kind of a stalemate there with people that apply. So we're going about it a little bit different, where they can just show some interest. We can reach out and hopefully get some new clients in there and keep that business streaming and going. You know what I mean? And as far as like the CRM and the education, it's getting edited as we speak. We were told the first week in August. So starting tomorrow, hopefully we see that come through. It's been a massive investment, as you guys know, with time and money. And we're ready to see how this is going to go. It's funny. You have all these nerves, you have all these doubts, and then you have all these optimistic thoughts, and they kind of go back and forth. And of course, overall, it's optimistic. But I think it's healthy to have a little bit of, okay, what are we doing? And not doubt, but just a little bit of a pause when you're about to launch something. Is this in place? Is that in place? Case in point, there's been a lot of times where Allie will get to the finish line of something and literally back out. She's done that on a couple big things and several little things, but it's just so she can take that pause and go, okay, are we doing this right? And that's no different with the CRM and the education course. It's just in between all that, we thought, hey, why don't we run some ads and get our feet wet in that again and see if that helps us as well. So yeah, all good stuff, all good times. It's crazy. Before I sit down and start talking to you guys, I think, all this happened this week, and you sit down and it kind of just comes out how it comes out, because that's all that's really coming to mind. Pops, man, Pops is doing good. Sorry, fam. I feel like I was talking like a million miles a minute there, so I took my own pause. No, Dad's doing good, man. It's funny. He'd always refer to himself as Pop, and I never did that as a kid or as an adult. I was like, "You're Dad. I'm not going to call you that." In my phone, he put Pop. I don't even know where that comes from. And now, where I talk about him weekly, it must be some weird subconscious, verbal thing going on, because I always call him Pops on the podcast, which is so funny to me. But he's doing good. He had a couple spills, had a couple falls, but it's funny, man. I think I mentioned this before, but it never gets old. He has, Parkinson's is a weird disease. 1 minute we're falling and shaking and crying, and then the next minute we're totally fine. But what's funny with my dad is, no matter what's going on, if he's around upstairs, or if he's checked out upstairs, or he's kind of in between where he's really chatty and talky and happy, but no one really seems to know what's going on. If you mention go get a beverage, he perks right up every time, and he zooms right in and goes, "Yeah, I would." And it's funny because, like, what if like a stranger came up to him and was like, "Hey, dude, you want to get a beverage?" And he's gonna go, "Yeah, take me. You look like a nice person." It's funny. We started giving him gummies because my mom read online that with indica it can help with Parkinson's. Not like the disease so much, but help them sleep through the night, which obviously it helps them do that, right? That's indica's job. But you'll try anything. And there was a couple days there where he wasn't sleeping at all, and it was causing hell, man, because his body knew he needed to sleep, I think, but his brain was like, screw you, we're staying awake. And that was just like no bueno on everybody. So my mom did this research, found that out. Of course, she calls her favorite son to go get the shit. And so got it, and it worked. But what's crazy is, we're sucking down gorillas like, ooh, pause. That could go a lot of different ways, fam. Okay. When I say we were sucking down gorillas, I mean we're sucking down gorilla beverages, drink. Careful now. We don't need we don't need a weird version of one man versus 100 gorillas. I mean, that is graphic as hell. Yeah. But anyway, so it was funny because I'm drinking it all the time because I love it. And I thought, oh, what am I doing? Because one cup of the Gorilla beverages is equal to my mom cutting a 5 milligram gummy in half to 2.5. Or if it's not exactly the same, it's right in the wheelhouse, right? So brought some down, or going to bring some down to him, and just have a nightcap with dad every night, and he can go into la la land and sleep a bit better, and I can just feel like, you know space. But yeah, man, truth be told, fam, it's been a rough week, honestly. um Everybody's just seems to be a bit more sensitive around here the last week or so. And there's reasons why, there's obvious reasons why for that, but there's also like reasons that maybe you don't know, if that makes sense. Um, Transitioning to getting to a new place in business, and in your personal life, it brings up a bunch of stuff. And for as social and for as um there's independents and then there's touchers, right? And I'm more on the independent side, and Allie's more on the toucher side, but she acts as if she's independent. And with some of the changes that have occurred, I think she's just trying to find how to like use all that and talk about all that. And this isn't making any sense to everyone that's listening or watching, but for the people that know, and remember, this is a selfish journal project from yours truly. So when I get crazy and get Parkinson's at 76, like my youngest tells me a lot, then they'll know I wasn't always crazy. You know what I mean? Um, anyway, I just say that to say that some of that was coming out, some of those anxieties, some of those, feelings and emotions have been coming out this week, and I think it all came to a head the other night. And sometimes that's good though, right? Because the balloon finally bursts, and you got nothing but air to fill. You feel me? So, finding out a bunch of things, and then knowing that perspective a little bit better with what she's trying to accomplish was obviously hard, but is a good thing, because now we know, and we can say, okay, well, these are the facts, and this is what we got to do to reach the next level. And it's funny. Um, People always say they want to own their own thing, and for whatever reason, and it's awesome. But if you get that entrepreneur bug in you, and you've accomplished it a couple of times, which we have, um, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, Allie and I are opposite. Meaning, I always thought private jets, I'm going to sell a company, I'm going to be a billionaire, do all this stuff, right? And then it turns out, once we found something that worked a couple of times, turns out I still have that dog in me, but overall, I'm like, not as intense. And Allie is the opposite. You would think she's more chill or whatever if you aren't around her when she's talking about business and things like that. But really, she wants to get to that next level, that next level, that next level. And to do that, fam, you don't know what that takes until you are finding out in real time what that takes. And it's hard. It's hard because to get to that next level, you can't do it by yourself. You can do a lot by yourself, but eventually people have to have your mentality a little bit. They have to have your care, you know? They have to have your care. They have to want what you want. They have to know that like you can't turn it off at 5 p.m. You just can't. It just when you're working your own business, and especially when you're trying to get to that next level, it just is. And until people have to make a payroll, or until people have to make the lease, or until people have to, you know, hit all these things, it's hard for them to understand. I was just on a phone call today with somebody. They're just doing their job, 9 to 5, doing whatever. We had this onboarding process with this new software, and it was just like they were blaming everything instead of just looking at the issue, talking about it like directly, and then moving on. And then I would ask them questions, and they go, "Oh no, I'm really behind the scenes." And it's just like, okay, this bitch doesn't care. This bitch, he's just there to clock it, get a paycheck, and move on, and that's cool. But the older I get, the more frustrated that makes me, man. Like, and And I never thought that would be the case, but it's just like, I don't care about the reason. I don't care. Can we fix it? And if not, cool, we'll get through it. Let's think outside the box. What else can we do? And the vast majority of people just like to hear their own voice. And I realize the irony of me saying that because I have a podcast, but everyone just is looking for all this validation to prove that they're like, important at everything. They want to be seen, and they'll say, oh no, I don't care what people think of me. That's not true. That's not true. And if you were being honest about that, everything becomes more honest, including your job to getting tasks done. Like, and that all plays into owning your own business, because you can't please everybody, but you still are expected to provide no matter what. If I go work for a big company, I want sick days. I want PTO. I want all the money I can. I want, rewards every quarter. Like, I want all these things, and they better give it to me. Right? Okay. Flip that around. You're a small business. You're doing the best you can. Maybe you make 100 grand a year. Maybe you make a couple million, and you've got people working for you. They don't give a shit. They want to get paid, and that's it. And they're going to do their job, and that's it. And that's hard. That's hard. We've been very lucky. We've been super lucky, where we've had, good girls coming through that really do want to be a part of it, and they really do go the extra mile. But it's hard because that's not everybody. And to get to that next level, man, it'd be awesome if that was everybody. Everybody talks like they want this, they want that, but the reality is their actions speak louder than words. And look, I get it. I totally get it. You don't want to do it. You have days where you just don't want to do it, but that doesn't matter. And when you have when the entity or the business is yours and it's your responsibility, you do not have a choice. Because if you make a choice to not do the things, then the domino effect is massive. It's massive. And so all that's going on in the background, trying to get to this new level, and we're getting close. And you can tell we're getting close because it's getting more stressful and it's getting more intense. And, that's just part of the journey. And then after it's over, hopefully it goes the way you want it to. You know what I'm saying? And you can breathe for a minute until you get the other bug up your ass. But anyway, fam, that's pretty much it. Also, shout out to the girl who called me a bitch at the grocery store. I hope you get a cold. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Today was kind of rough. If you can tell, I was a little off my game a little bit, but glad to be back. We're back in the groove. We started up the podcast again with all the energy. We're going at it, and we're going to keep doing Thirsty Thursdays. We're going to get more involved with Gorilla Beverages in our own way, but go check them out, gorillalifestyle.com. And fam, I'm going to get back to editing, and until next time, cheers. I'll set this bitch upload.